Been a while since we've had the macro in the house. Ooh.
Who's that? Where?
Ooh.
How'd you find me?
We're going to talk about some interesting stuff here today. We've got to talk about, the comments that you guys brought up in the previous podcast about Windows 10 spying on me. And then we're going to address this Nintendo Switch up. And just for a little bit of bonus, since I just built a new computer with the new fancy graphics card, they're blowing up and catching fire. So stay tuned. So let's go ahead and roll that intro.
Computers, gaming,
Oh yeah, dance it up.
retro gear, devices, tech reviews, and more.
What am I supposed to be doing?
I don't know. Just wait.
Yeah,
Talk about Windows 10 spying on me. What do you think? I mean, this was the most comment that I got on the last podcast. Everyone's like, well, you know, that Windows 10, they're spying on you, man. How do you feel about that? Do you think Windows 10 is really spying on you?
no more than any other modern piece of technology.
Okay.
And
I got
think
you.
You can put it almost that simple. You can put it that simply. We'll turn this into probably a 10, 20... We could turn this into a 5-hour segment if we wanted to, but you can leave it right there.
All about the security, right? Well, here's the thing that was the kicker for me. The best part about the people leaving these comments, and I just have to kind of bring something up. I just thought it was kind of funny, kind of a double standard kind of a thing. You know what I mean? There's a platform out there that really spies on people. Really actually spies. Takes a lot of data from you. I think you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about? Talking about Google. I just think it's ironic. A lot of people go jump on their Linux boxes. Okay, well, your operating system's no longer spying on you. Huh, cool. That's one loop out of the thing. But then you hop onto Google. You talk a little bit on Facebook with family and friends. Maybe tweet some stuff here and there. And then on top of all of that, you're using your ISP, which also spies on you.
Say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so, huh? Yeah. That's what I wanted to address to the people, especially those that left that comment, saying that just because you're on Linux, you're virtually no longer spied on. You're perfectly safe. I'm trying to figure that one out.
I think people are trying to create layers of separation that don't entirely exist. Barnacules has made a really good point that it's just at such a low level now in your operating system that, yeah, you do have to go out of your way to disable it. And there are potentially unique identifiers that can trace, say, anything you go back, any of the data collect back to you. But is that really any different or any worse than Android? All Android phones we know and love. Is that any worse than having a Gmail account where they pull metadata from everything of yours? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, and then you got, if you want to say a company that's really spying on you, it's definitely Google. I think takes the top. I know Facebook, they have their level of it. I mean, unless you're one of those people, you never sign up for Google, you never sign up for Facebook, you never sign up for any of this stuff, and then you hide behind 2 firewalls and 3 VPNs. I'm sure there's somebody out there.
Use the internet.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of how Richard Stallman used the internet. Well, no, he didn't. Richard Stallman might be one of the few people who actually pulls that off. He, for the longest time, didn't even read web pages. He would actually have a RSS server pull certain news sites, and then he'd have printouts that he would read. He would never directly use the web. But do any of us really want to do that? Sure, we're being killed by convenience, and then they use metadata to generate ad revenue. We are the product. We're always being spied on. It's just something we've all come to, I think, terms with or come to live with, whether we realize it or not.
You know, as I was researching on the Windows 10 thing, did you know the government spies on us, dude?
Really?
Yeah, I was totally surprised about that one, too. I mean, Oh man. I mean,
There's like something about that
all I got to do,
snowing,
all I got to do is install Linux on my computer, and I'm free from being spied on.
That gets to a whole other double standard. Like, is it okay? It's okay for the government to spy on you, but a private corporation? No.
No.
Unacceptable.
I mean, it's not like you can put, rules in your pfSense box to block some of that stuff. As much as you can, keep it updated. You can turn most of it off. Pretty much you can make it to where, okay, your operating system is spying on you a little bit. But even then, if you're using even on Linux, Firefox reports back home. If you usually have to turn it off, it'll let you know. But Firefox, many of the programs like Mumble, it reports home. A lot of the software that's in Linux phones home, unless you go into the options and turn it off. Oh, yeah.
Let's not even get started with say cookies.
Oh, those damn cookies.
That, cross over between websites. Like, wait, how come 10 websites ago this knows what I was looking up? What?
Oh yeah, especially
completely separate from that.
You're shopping on Amazon, and next thing you know, you're jumping on Google and YouTube, and the ads are for products that you were just looking at on Amazon. Cool, huh?
Yep. Chris in the chat has pointed out Android is Google, Google is Android. We are aware of that. It's just you can visit, say, the Google website on your computer. There is a separation, but Android itself, Google is deeply integrated it. But we generally consider them one and the same.
They're the evil demons. They're coming for you. Okay.
But wait, aren't we broadcasting on something from Google right now?
Oh yeah.
Why are we dealing with demons?
They're totally not spying on us, dude. There's no way this is going to end up on some server in some part of the world, who God knows where, and it's going to become a collection of something. Someone was telling me, did you know after you remove a video from YouTube, they still keep it? Yeah, it's not truly gone.
I think they have some kind of legal thing with any piece of data, whether emails, whatever. It's at least a 6-month backlog, if not more, before they can actually legally delete it. I wish I knew the source on that.
Yeah, I would like to know myself, too.
But what's to say they aren't keeping it longer or indefinitely? When you'd hear about the NSA, them setting up that ridiculous data center, and I don't know what state, but how many terabits of backswitch capacity, so they can basically archive every bit of information they pick up, so they can eventually, say, decrypt it and have all the info and dirt on people they could ever want.
No, well, like Adam said in the chat, I think that's kind of interesting. Some of them even spy your mouse movements, man.
There's even super cookies, something I think they're called super cookies, but even if you disable cookies and turn on no track, it's something embedded into image code or something in CSS that has exactly the same effect. It's crazy. If you really, really look into it, you will be paranoid enough to just want to shut off everything, destroy your phone, all of it.
Disconnect from the world, right?
Trying to live here.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's something we've got to accept, and that was the main point. I just wanted to drive along. Was I couldn't believe there must have been. It was the most popular comment on the last podcast was all about that Windows 10. They just wanted me to know that Windows 10 was spying on me, man. And I'm just saying, really? Double standard here. Look at the platform they're posting that comment on. That's all I need to say.
My final thought on it is we've kind of created this monster. We expect to get so many things online for free. They have to pay for that somehow. Microsoft has to pay for all those free copies of Windows 10 they gave out, and they do that by, say, laying off 18,000 people and trying to generate ad revenue so they can have a business model a lot like Google by selling your data. We are the product. They make money by selling info about us to advertisers. We've created that monster.
The Switch. What is the Switch? I think it's more of not an Android tablet, but we're talking a tablet with some controllers you can switch off of there. You can take it from your TV, then run out, go outside and play that thing. Actually, I'm kind of interested on this system. I think it's a not really, I guess, unique idea. I mean, it's something that, Android tablets have probably been doing a long time now. Well, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions, like what's the battery life of this thing? Because you're going to have, 3 different batteries in this thing? One in each of the 2 controllers, and then the tablet. So that's a lot of charging. What's going to die first? Is it going to be the controllers that die first? Is it going to be the system that dies first? I don't know. That's some bit of information I guess we're probably not going to know until people start using this device in March. Right now, there's no information on that. But there's one thing that I find kind of fascinating about the Nintendo Switch. In this trailer, you notice, all right, they got a Skyrim remix here in HD. I don't know. I'm not interested in playing Skyrim. I spent many, many hours on Skyrim and don't plan on going back to Skyrim. I'm Skyrimmed out. I've had enough. So
That's a shame.
yeah, I agree. But, however, what I thought was interesting is people playing basketball and then playing a little basketball, and the controllers kind of split. They can turn into 2 separate controllers. And the weird thing about these controllers is, if you look at the analog joystick here, it's in 2 different positions. On one side, it's closer to the edge of it, and on the other controller, it's like halfway in the middle. So, which controller is going to be the more awkward one to use, the first or the second player? I don't know. But one thing that really fascinates me about the Nintendo Switch, out of anything, is I almost want to call this, an Nvida Shield on crack?
Pretty accurate.
Okay. What are your thoughts on this Nintendo Switch Up?
For the first time I heard about it, coworker said the name to me, and I said, what the hell is Nintendo thinking with that name? They had this cool code name, the NX. Why couldn't they have used that, say, new experience? But I think it was just a matter of if they had an X in there, they'd be competing with Xbox. But anyway, regardless, I saw the trailer, and I was actually very, very excited.
Yeah.
And to say it's an NVIDIA Tegra on crack is, I say, pretty accurate. There was an NVIDIA Tegra tablet, two generation Tegra processors ago, had controllers you could use with it, and I'd say this is incredibly similar to that, especially when you consider NVIDIA had a very large hand in designing this thing from the ground up, which is a first for Nintendo to actually let a third party have that much of a hand in developing it.
Oh yeah, it's kind of interesting because would this be the first time that Nvidia has gotten into the console market? I'm not sure.
No,
It seems like AMD seems to kind of own that one up.
AMD currently owns it, but the PS3 used NVIDIA and the first-gen Xbox used NVIDIA.
Okay. I wonder why they decided to go AMD. Must be some interesting deals going on there. It's kind of interesting that NVIDIA wouldn't be used in Nintendo system. I mean, any system nowadays. Of course.
I think a lot of it came down to cost and power efficiency, and I think Nintendo managed to strike up a really good deal with it. We're talking they're using mobile processing here. It's allegedly using the new Tegra X2, which seems on paper to be a pretty powerful system on a chip. And they might have just been able to fit the bill by making it just cheap enough and just power efficient enough that it can do a modern console in a mobile form factor.
But I wouldn't expect to see Red Dead Redemption on this. The new 2. That's everyone's like, woo, Red Dead Redemption. Oh, yeah.
Do you mean in terms of, say, just modern gaming, like keeping par with Xbox One and PS4?
Do you think it can handle that?
I think it's close to handling it. Depending on where you check, the Tegra X2 has between 0.75 and 1.5 teraflops, which if it's on the latter, the 1.5, that actually places it right between the Xbox One and PS4 in terms of raw horsepower. We do know the first-gen Tegra X was about 2 Xbox 360s in terms of power. This is obviously going to be more powerful than that, but they are going to have to downclock it. So I'm just going to guess it's going to be very much on par with the Xbox One, which isn't bad, especially for something portable. If it's anywhere close to that.
Hopefully the operating system is not as slow as the Wii U. My God, that's awful. Oh.
Well, I think with Nvidia having a hand in that, they'll kind of see to it that it runs pretty well. I can almost guarantee it's going to be running on Android, since it's running the Tegra. They already have Vulkan running on it, at least on the Nvidia side of things. So I'm keeping very, very optimistic, and I'll probably be disappointed.
Well, I guess like most of us, we're excited to play that new Zelda game. If you're a Zelda fan, I'm so looking forward to that. Oh yeah, Zelda. It's been a long time. And they're going to bring in third-party support. So it'll be interesting to see what games get released for this system. Unlike the previous, where we just get our Marios, our Smash Bros, our Donkey Kongs. You just get the basics. That they've just been every generation of consoles. They bring out a new one, and I'm sure we're going to get that.
Yeah, they said they have 45 developers on board. Among those were Activision, id, Bethesda. They were showing Skyrim, but as I read afterward, they had not confirmed the Skyrim remaster is actually going to come to the platform. Nintendo has actually done this before. When they were showing at E3 the Wii U for the first time, they were demonstrating games for Battlefield and other games that were running on the 360 and PS3 at the time, showing, hey, this console is just as capable of those. But none of those games they showed actually came out. But the fact that they did this on their first reveal trailer, I would hate to think they're not going to deliver on that.
Well, that would be considered false advertisement, and we've had enough of that with Nintendo's other product, Pokemon Go. I mean, the trailer for like Pokemon Go, the game is nothing like that. In the trailer, it says we can track the Pokemon. We can't track the Pokemon. It even in the trailer shows how far away, by kilometers, how far away the Pokemon is. In the trailer. They show trading in the trailer. Well, nope, they don't got that, and they don't plan to do anything about it. From what I heard, it's going to be years before that feature comes out. And then I can't remember, there was another, the whole Pokemon Go advertisement was false. Everything they showed in that trailer was not in the game. There's no tracker. I don't see it telling me how far away it is in kilometers or feet. It's not there. There's no trading in that game. Come on. Seriously. Why do they hype that stuff up and then the game comes out and it's been almost months now and still have no features? Heck, the tracking feature's still broken. So it's got me kind of wondering. That advertisement for the Switch looked good, but how much of it is bullshit?
Well, at least we don't have to wait too long to find out. March is a weird time to launch a console. It's probably going to be the first console in a few decades that isn't being released near the holidays.
Yeah, I don't know what is behind that marketing point. After that, everyone spent their Christmas money. Gift cards are spent. Christmas money spent. So, yeah.
I've got it. It's close to tax time.
Oh, yeah.
Spend your tax refund on the Switch.
Yeah, I know. I definitely will be picking this Switch up. There's still no price on this damn thing. And we don't know how much it's going to cost. Will it be $10, $5, $6? No.
Given that it's Nintendo, they normally always sell a fairly affordable console, but they also always try to sell it that they make somewhat of a profit, even if it's a small margin. The crazy thing is Nintendo, to pull themselves into profitability, they had to release amiibos. So they're basically using amiibos, Pokemon Go.
Because I'm a sucker of that. I got a few of those amiibos, and it isn't just to use them. They use them for what they're used for. They're collector's figures,
Yeah.
That's all they're for.
Adam in the comments is saying there probably won't be many AAA titles just because the Switch will be powered by an ARM-based SoC. My response to that is look at the SoCs that are powering the Xbox One and the PS4. They're actually using a very low-grade tablet variant AMD CPU that only runs at about 1.8 gigahertz. That's not a whole lot of power right there, but they're running AAAs on it.
Oh, yeah.
The rumor, the new Tegra X2 is going to be using a new Denver chip that NVIDIA has developed, and we know NVIDIA is capable of developing stupidly fast, at least parallel process parallel processors for GPUs. I'd like to think they can apply that to ARM as well. And developers, from what I've heard from some developers, have already come out saying, hey, the dev kit they gave us, even though it's based on the Tegra X1, they really like it. They don't feel that restricted by it. So I'm thinking AAAs are actually going to happen. But we'll see in a few months.
We will find out. And let's move on to the next interesting plot line here. Plot line, is that the right way to put it? But this needs to be addressed. We've been sitting here talking about Nvidia. But there's something big going on in the tech world that just landed recently in the past week. That's right. The EVGA GTX 1080s and 1070s are heating up. They're blowing up. They're catching on fire, man. Oh my God. Nvidia's going toward. They're going AMD on us, man. I don't know what to do. It's crazy. I can't believe it. Last episode I talked about how AMDs are catching fire and how they're getting too hot, and all of a sudden I got that slap to the face. And as some of you may have heard about this issue, it's with certain models of the EVGA models. Okay, this is where I'm a little scared. Why am I scared? Because I just recently purchased one. Believe it or not, this is with the For the Win edition of the card. It was the version I was going to buy. Originally, I was going to purchase this particular model. Luckily, I went for the Founders Edition. And according to this here, no, not the EVGA's Founders Edition, blower type, hybrid, and hybrid copper editions are unaffected. So, whew. Sometimes
bullet with that one.
Oh yeah, you know what's kind of funny is I really was thinking about the For the Win edition because it was, I think, a little bit cheaper, not by much. And then I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to go for the Founders Edition instead. I decided last minute when I made the order, we'll go Founders Edition. Because it was kind of funny. As soon as the news about this broke out, I started getting a bunch of messages on Facebook saying, oh my God, is your computer okay? Is it on fire?
Yeah. Yep. I think this could have happened to just about anybody. EVGA, at least with the FTW cards, they've been trying to break kind of world records in overclocking. And they probably just went a bit overboard. Think of it kind of like...
What I want to know is, on these blowing up GPUs, are they overclocking it? Is the user doing something wrong? Because I know I get a lot of stuff from people on my e-cigarette showing me pictures that these things blow up. But then you do so little research, and it's because the person who had it blow up was doing modding to it and changing it to work in a different way. So I'm kind of curious about that.
In this case, I don't think it was necessarily that or any real negligence on the user's part. These cards, at least the FTW and the SC cards from EVGA, come factory overclocked. Unless you set that thermal target using their utility, it's not going to go to those, but it's still going through a proprietary VRIGS power regulation system that they set up. So it's potentially really more on them for a manufacturing defect or inadequate cooling on these parts as opposed to the users. And your Founders Edition is fine with that because of its cooling design, that it actually forces air over the VRIGS, and the backplate design also helps passively cool that as well.
I mean, so far, it's working good, but like I said, I've been using it mainly for 4K editing, which is very, very impressive. I'm very happy with it. And there's also a video of the GTX blowing up in somebody's rig. Don't believe it. That video's fake. I even looked at it and paused it. They did a little trickery with After Effects on that one, because in the video card's not even plugged in. I don't know if you've seen that video, but it was on YouTube.
I have not.
I'm
gonna go watch that.
It's funny. Let me see if I can type that up.
I think it's just like a new Samsung scare that we're trying to apply to.
Yeah, that's what people are going for. Is this going to affect
Too soon.
NVIDIA's reputation? Probably not NVIDIA's, but EVGA, people are going to wonder now,
It's funny, though. EVGA, I've known them for the longest time, at least up until maybe the 6th series of GPUs, like the 680 line and all that. They always used completely stock reference designs. They would basically stick a new sticker on the outside of the cooler to make it their own. And people would just go with other manufacturers because they actually did aftermarkets. They did better cooling. They did better power delivery. And now it's actually gotten to the point where NVIDIA seems to be making the better stuff straight out of there. It's not up to third-party vendors to actually make the higher quality cards or parts. It's kind of interesting, that paradigm shift.
Oh, yeah. But here we go. I just pulled up the video here. It's called EVGA NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080. VRM catches fire caught on camera. They're getting a good set of dislikes, but let's go ahead and let me pause this over here, and we'll
React
play
to?
here.
And show you these VRM.
Are we gonna get sued by the Fine Bros?
Fire temporarily before he
no.
the power plug.
Oh no.
Okay, here's the video. You see smoke coming out of it. Now, let me just pause it right there. As you can see here, this smoke, it's fake. That's not real smoke. That's an After Effects deal going on there. And then check this out. How the hell is this thing getting power? It's not even plugged in. And then it goes, boom, a little flame pops out. And
all right, so there
he actually pauses it there. As again, this is an After Effected video. This video, come on, it's not even plugged in. If you're at least gonna make a video like this, plug it in. You can see the fans aren't moving, nothing. And there's this over here. They put a little lens flare in there. It's funny. I just don't know why people got to do this. And people in the comments, some have caught on that this is not plugged in. But for the most part, people are like, oh my God, wow. Well, here this guy notices, why aren't the PSU cables plugged in? At least some people are noticing that.
Yeah, you're pointing out a lot of dislikes, but there's still more likes than dislikes, which has me concerned for the sanity of the internet.
Yeah,
and PC
yeah, no
master
kidding.
race.
Makes me wonder.
Yeah, still not as dumb as the election.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, in the next 2 days, 3 days, we're going to find out which clown gets office. Everyone out there, vote for the whatever that third option is. Just check that box, please.
I personally write in Vermin Supreme. He's a very good meme back in the day.
Put your own name in there. Yeah. But with that,
I don't like myself enough.
is there anything kind of random you want to just have a little chat about? Anything good going on?
Let's talk about how much we both love our computers right now.
Oh yeah, dude. You recently got a very kick-ass deal on a rig. Tell us about that rig, man.
So, friend of mine, well, I at risk of him potentially getting in trouble for the business he kind of snuck it out of. Basically, they have recyclers coming through. And they normally take off the systems, and they were able to buy them off of them. And I got a very good HP Z800 dual Xeon workstation for $200 out of it. And it's just a crud load of power for very cheap. I'm just loving it.
I'm just curious how that bad boy would render videos. Whew.
The only real downside is, there's a few downsides. Power delivery, it's limited to 6-pin PCI Express on the GPUs, and the processors are from 2011, so they're about the performance of a modern-day Skylake i5, but there's just so many of them. 24 threads. So I will eventually do some editing on this thing, and I'll kind of let you know how that goes. A friend of mine, he has been using it to encode 4K Blu-ray rips, and he says it does pretty well. It's about on par with his Skylake system. He's running the same processor as you, but he found out it was also limiting the CPU to 50%. But that's without even using the GPU. That's just him running on Linux, throwing video decodes at it.
What do we got now? I just wanted to talk about the poll, because he was talking about the rendering under Linux. And I just thought it was kind of funny. And on this poll, I said, which OS is going to perform better on my new hardware? 12 votes for Windows 10, 16 votes for Arch Linux. Now, I haven't finished that video yet, but right here, right now, I'm going to give you a little hint on what really happened. Windows 10 won, but by a very, very small margin. I did some tests, and if you are a member of the group, you can scroll down through there and you will see by how much. For one, to make it a fair fight, I had to run both of them on, the OpenGL. Have to run it on OpenGL on Windows 10 side, and the results were very, very small. However, using DirectX, you can get your extra 20, 30 frames in there. And to some people, that's a lot of performance difference. The biggest hit on Arch Linux was rendering the 4K video. Unfortunately, under Linux, there is no CUDA support whatsoever under any video editor on Linux, which is kind of a bummer. But on the Windows 10 side, you got Premiere. It has support for CUDA, and you need that. You need that, especially if you got the good hardware. You don't, I would be editing back on Linux again, but unfortunately, I can't use the full potential of editing 4K video on Linux right now until CUDA support comes. Put it in KDN Live, put it in Lightworks. Come on, put it in Lightworks at least. But unfortunately, yeah, that's the route I decided to go.
Windows may have won the benchmarks, but Linux will always win our hearts.
It's still always going to be there. And I want to get back into producing my music again. Yeah, I used to produce my own music. I've played with all of the different programs. Nothing comes close to Reason. Not even close. It's just not there. But I'm hoping one day it will be. But Linux, it's a great OS for all other stuff. And I use it on every other computer in the house. So that's where I'm at with that.
I'm using it right now.
It's kind of funny because before he was the Windows 10 dude in here. Now we switched.
Oh, what a few months of downtime does for anybody.
And switching back to like Premiere and Reason to do my stuff, kind of the best way I can say on Lightworks and on Linux, it's like the standard transmission car. And jumping back into Premiere on Windows 10 is like jumping back into that automatic, and you're just like, oh wow, less things to think about, a little easier. In my book, but yeah. Do I feel bad? Yeah, I feel really bad. I feel like I've broken the law or something.
You gave Microsoft $200. You did break the law.
God.
You're
Why?
lucky we don't completely disown you for that.
I know. Tell me about it. Took my money. I should have went down to the Bay and got myself a kick-ass deal. The last video about the AMD stuff. And I said, like the video if you're an Intel guy. Dislike the video if you're an AMD fanboy. And the votes are in. 41 likes, 15 dislikes. Yeah. So I kind of knew that was going to happen. I wonder how many of those dislikes though actually stuck around and heard the part where I said dislike the video. How many of them are just already pissed off in the first 10 minutes? It's kind of funny. I actually lost 20 subs after that video went up.
Really?
Boom. Yeah, I took a little hit there.
And
I was kind of expecting that.
off.
I was expecting that, but it was kind of funny. I just watching the audience's reaction to stuff, like the intro and how people react. It's kind of fun to get the audience triggered from time to time. I can't lie. It's fun.
Not to say you didn't really go out of your way to try to troll them in that, For what it's worth, your last geeking off, where you're showing off the new rig, 68 likes, 1 dislike.
Yeah. So I don't know. The analytics in this world are you're an interesting bunch. I'll give you that. And a lot of times I try to reply to everybody. But I just get so busy right now. My life is just like working 10-hour days and just don't have time like I used to anymore. And it kind of sucks. I wish I could do more of this. But, it's life. Life owns us, man. Takes us over.
And in this case, Microsoft and Google own us.
Yeah, unfortunately. Not spying on us at all. Not at all. So you're not being spied on over there? You're on your Linux. You're spy free.
I don't know. I'm talking to you on Google Hangouts. I got a YouTube tab open. I got Gmail tab open. I got an iPhone. I think I'm being pretty well spied on.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Well, I guess I'm gonna kind of wrap it up there. So that saying brings us to the end of this Geeking Off podcast. If you like, you can hit us up at www.geekingoffpodcast.com. Yeah, you can always join us on the RSS feed. Join iTunes. For all you iPhone users, yeah, I know you're out there. So hit it up, check it out. I've got to get back into the becoming a guest thing. There's been a lot of signups in there, so I've got to start mixing things up. I got to get going. I've got to do something about it, man, because we're just chugging along here like a slow choo-choo train. But I'll tell you what.
Are you breaking up with me?
Yeah. No. I want to start bringing in other, a secondary guest. But we're gonna call you the lead. He's the lead guest. And a lot of you have also asked whatever happened to the other co-host, that Linux nerd. Unfortunately, he's busy and just has technical issues all the time. So I don't think he'll be coming back. At least not anytime soon. Maybe he'll show up in one episode and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, there he is. He's back." Go.
In spirit.
He's here with us in the heart. He was just chatting with me a minute ago. He said he wished he could have joined in, but he has no headset right now. But good comments, guys. You guys have been leaving really good comments. They're definitely a good read. It's some of them are really like novels, and I read them. I do read your guys' comments. Even if I don't reply to every one of them, I do read it. I'm getting your feedback. So go ahead, do that. Leave feedback here. I got rid of the email address because nobody uses it. Feedback, YouTube comments. It works. Everyone's there using that Google. Boop, 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 boop. It's over? Is it all over? I think so. So I gotta play the outro song.
But anybody still watching?
I don't know. You watching the blackness?
3.
Yeah. I don't think anybody really sticks around for all this part, but if you do, yeah. Here you go.
I do, just to relive it.
Oh. You never know. I might throw a secret in here. Especially that John Cena in the last one.
Okay, I was just looking at those comments like, John Cena! That must have been the 15 dislikes you got.
Oh yeah. Dang John Cena.
John Cena sucks. Good show.
Night.
I think we gotta still try to plan a little something more for random discussion.
Goodbye.